So I opened my Roth IRA 5 years ago, and this is exactly what happened. Back in 2020, I was working in supply chain at a multi-billion-dollar corporation, aka I delivered pizzas for Papa John's. But even with this measly salary, I knew that I wanted to maximize every single dollar that I earned. And that's why 5 years ago, in the height of COVID, during quarantine, I decided to log onto the website frugality.com to open up my very first investing account, which was a Roth IRA. Now, at the time, I was a single dude, not married yet, and I was only investing $100 a month to start. But over time, as my income increased, so did my contribution. So if we look at my actual investments throughout the years, my first year, I only contributed $500. For the second year, I contributed $4,200 when the max contribution was $6,000. And by the third year, I had the right education finally to know that I should be maxing out this Roth IRA because I don't want to leave any potential gains on the table. So not only did I start maxing out my Roth IRA in this third year, I also got married. So my wife was already on board with maxing out her Roth IRA as well. And because now we've established this habit of maxing out our Roth IRA every single year, we are now very much on our way to being tax-free millionaires. And of course, that is only assuming we only have a Roth IRA. We actually have more investing accounts that we'll talk about later. But in this video, I want to share with you 4 key learnings that came about from investing in my Roth IRA for the last 5 years. First, I'll share with you the evidence as to why the Roth IRA is top-notch. Second, I'm going to share with you what it actually takes to max out your Roth IRA every year. Third, I'll show you how the Roth IRA will shape our family's future. And fourth, I'm going to reveal exactly what investments I choose within the Roth IRA. And just for fun, there are some things I do want to change about my investing strategy that I'll share at the end of this video. But first, let's talk about why the Roth IRA is such a top-notch investing account. I'll be honest, a Roth IRA is one of the easiest ways for you to become a tax-free millionaire, and it is beautiful. Even more beautiful than the sunset in a Walmart parking lot. Now, growing up, I'm super thankful for this, but my parents were always open to talking about finances, but I never took the steps to open my own investing accounts. It wasn't until 2020 when I started watching this small finance YouTuber by the name of Graham Stephan, and while I was delivering pizzas for Papa John's, I would listen to this guy on a small radio show by the name of Dave Ramsey. Even though these finance influencers had different takes on money, one thing they definitely agreed on was the power of the Roth IRA. Now, why do I, as well as Graham Stephan and Dave Ramsey, say that a Roth IRA is one of the easiest ways to becoming a tax-free millionaire? Well, that comes down to the key word here: Roth. Whenever you see a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k, the word Roth signifies how that investing account handles taxes. Any money that you contribute to a Roth IRA or a Roth 401k is considered after-tax dollars. So now whatever money you put into that Roth account can be used to buy investments, and those dollars can grow without having to pay taxes on them ever again. So when the time comes that you're at retirement age, you can withdraw your money, both the contributions and the earnings, all tax-free. Of course, that is if you meet certain conditions. For example, you have to be older than 95 and a half and have the account for at least 5 years. And that leads me to one of the most obvious signs that a Roth IRA is almost too good to be true. Whenever the government has to place limits or restrictions on a certain type of investing account, probably means that it's a pretty good investing account, and that's why they're trying to limit who can use it. It's like when I lived in Florida, if we found a really nice spring that wasn't very busy and no one really knew about it, we wanted to limit the amount of people that knew about this natural spring, or else, it would get overcrowded and kind of ruin it. The same thing goes for the Roth IRA. It has so many perks that they're trying to limit the amount of people that can use it and how much you can use it. So here are the 2 main restrictions of the Roth IRA that come to mind. Restriction number 1, you can't contribute to a Roth IRA if your income is too high. So here's what that looks like in 2025. If you're single, you can contribute money into a Roth IRA as long as you make less than $150,000 a year. Once you make between $150K and $165K, you can still contribute, but not the full amount. And then of course, if you make over $165K, you can't contribute directly anymore. So good for you. But if you are married and filing jointly, your limit is going to be higher. You can still contribute the full amount into your Roth IRA if you make under $236,000, but between $236K and $246K, it does start to to phase out. And of course, once you pass $246,000 of income, you can't contribute anymore into your Roth IRA. Restriction 2. There is a limit to how much you can contribute in a single year. If you're under 50 years old, you can contribute up to $7,000 for the year. If you're 50 or older, you get a little bonus. You can put in $8,000 total thanks to what is called a catch-up contribution. So looking at these two restrictions, those are two big reasons why you need to take advantage of the Roth IRA if you qualify. The government does not want everyone using this gem of an investing account. For me personally, there are two other reasons why I chose the Roth IRA account as my first investing account. First, because this is an IRA or an individual retirement account, I was able to choose my own custodian or provider of this account. The big three I like to think of are Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Vanguard, but for me, I went with Fidelity to open the Roth IRA. Number two, I love the Roth IRA because there are low expenses and fees. Literally, like I said, I logged onto fidelity.com and within 5 minutes, I entered some of my own personal information, my social security number as shown here, and then I was able to start contributing right away. But now I really want to take some time to tell you about how much it took out of me to max out my Roth IRA every year. Currently, for my wife and I, we have a saving and investing rate of over 50% of our income, and that does take a lot of discipline. If you are currently getting started in your investing journey, what's more important right now is the fact that you are investing as opposed to what you're investing in. Financial success is based highly on behavior as opposed to math and head knowledge. Because I have worked with plenty of people throughout the years who love to talk about investing, who love to talk about the market, who watch CNBC every morning, but they never contribute a dollar of their own money into an investment account. So just as I mentioned before, I did not start by maxing out my Roth IRA every single year. I started with only $100 a month because that's all I really had. Heck, at the time, I didn't even understand the concept of maxing out your Roth IRA. I didn't know there was a max contribution. I was literally just going off of what I had left at the end of the month. So that's why one of the most important factors in building up this habit of contributing to a Roth IRA is to just get started. That could be just $50 a month or $100 a month. I've seen too many people think that they need to reach this certain income threshold, and once their income is this amount, then they'll be ready and worthy to start investing. No, you want to start building the behavior now so that when you do make that higher income, you're already in the habit of contributing and you can just increase your contributions. Now, if you're watching this video, comment down below, when did you start investing and how much were you contributing to start? I made this channel, The Frugal Rich, to be a community so that we can share what we're learning and doing on our wealth building journey. And by the way, if you do want to max out your Roth IRA, all you got to do is take the total contribution max of the year, which is $7,000, and divide it by 12 months. From there, we learned that if you contribute $583 a month throughout an entire year, then you'll reach the $7,000 max contribution amount by the time the year ends. So that's exactly what I do now, but later in the video, I wanna share one thing I'm gonna change about our Roth IRA contributions. But what the heck does it look like to contribute this amount of money every single month? Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't even log onto fidelity.com to make that transfer every single month. That is because we've automated the process. Because technology and these websites are so good nowadays, you can automate your monthly transfer or a contribution just with a click of a button. The first automation I set up is the transfer of $583 from my checking account into my Fidelity Roth IRA account. Now, the $583 that are now in my Roth IRA account are not just going to start growing magically. I now have to set up a second automation so I can buy investments with that $583. I'm a really simple guy, so my second automation is just to use these $583 to buy some low-cost index funds and mutual funds. No stock picking, no crypto, just buying these huge baskets of stock. And like I said before, if you keep watching the video, I'll share with you the exact low-cost funds that I choose myself. The most important thing here is to automate, and automate. First, automate the transfer of dollars into your Roth IRA account, and second, you're gonna automate the investment of these dollars that you put into your Roth IRA. Now, for part 3, let's talk about how the Roth IRA will shape our family's future. At this point of loosely investing into my own Roth IRA for the last 5 years, not even including my wife's accounts, I've had a total of $30,000 invested of my own money. But what's crazy is that even after this short amount of time, over $18,000 of what's in my Roth IRA is made up of only gains, aka $18,000 of not my own money, but just the growth that has happened in there. But before I get all excited and think that this is going to be the rate of growth for the next 30 years, understand that I opened up my Roth IRA in 2020 when the market was really low. So if you got into the market at that time, probably look like a genius today. So let's look at a more conservative projection for what these investments could grow up to be within the next 30 years. Of course, looking at our Roth IRA, we are nowhere near being tax-free millionaires at the moment, but if both my wife and I were to contribute the same amount of dollars each month into the Roth IRA, and assuming that we'll have a reasonable growth rate of 8%, which is based off the historical average of the S&P 500, in 30 years, before we are even 59 and a half years old, we'll be multi-millionaires solely from the Roth IRA account. And of course, this is still assuming that we're contributing only $583 a month to the Roth IRA, when we all know the max contribution will increase over time. Plus, we're also excluding our future home as well as all of our other investing accounts, so yeah. Part 4, what investments I choose within my Roth IRA. So I mentioned low-cost index funds, and the one that I choose on Fidelity is FXAIX. That is the Fidelity S&P 500 Index Fund. I believe the expense ratio, or the cost of having the FXAIX fund, is only 0.02%, which is amazing. There are other S&P 500 index funds that are really popular, like VOO and SPY. So for me, investing into these low-cost index funds give me less headaches. It doesn't require a bunch of time for me to actively manage or day trade with stocks. And this index fund gives me confidence because it tracks the performance of the S&P 500, which is comprised of the top 500 companies in the US. I would much rather invest into a basket of 500 companies made up of people who are all trying to grow these companies, as opposed to speculating and buying something like cryptocurrency, which I find to be not as reliable or consistent. But I'll be honest with you guys, I am not the perfect investor. I'm someone, honestly, that is still young. I have a lot of time. I can afford to take on some risk. So I do invest into a blue chip growth fund, which goes by the ticker symbol of FBGRX. The expense ratio, of course, is a bit higher, but the type of investing is a little more aggressive, yet still relies on a whole basket of stocks still. So once again, I'm not relying on individual companies or individual stocks, nor am I dabbling into any alternative investments like gold or crypto or REITs. Later on, I'm going to continue to build my knowledge in the investing space, and you guys can follow along by hitting the subscribe button below. There is one thing though that I do want to change about how we invest into the Roth IRA looking towards next year. Instead of breaking up the max contribution of $7,000 into an even split throughout the months, I think next year we're going to front load all of our Roth IRA contributions so that we max it out by June, by like the 6-month mark of the year. And that is for 2 reasons. 1, we do have enough margin to contribute a lot more into the Roth IRA. And 2, this allows our contributions to have more time in the market. So according to some quick mental math, that's going to require us to contribute $1,166 for the first 6 months of 2026, and that will allow us to hit our max contribution within the first 6 months of the year. So now we have the next 6 months just dedicated to growth in the market. But again, the most important thing here is to start the habit of investing. You can start small, like I said, with $50 or $100, and I would definitely look into the Roth IRA if you do qualify. The most important thing now is to build the behavior of investing and to start creating some margin in your life so you have some money to invest. And if you do want to create more margin in your life, click on this video right here where I share some of the most practical things I do to save money so that there is more room to invest. Give it a click and I'll see you guys over there. Peace.